Hello everyone, this is Jamie from Serials, the PNN webcast series that chronicles your stories. 98 years of life is certainly ample time to accumulate enough life experiences and adventures to fill several hundred pages of a memoir. And that's exactly what author Osmond Molarsky has done. I talked to Molarsky in what he calls his den, a compact ground floor apartment where he lives and works at the Redwoods, a retirement community. And as far as he knows, Molarsky is the only resident who is not retired. Author of 16 popular books for children, at 98 he felt he was finally old enough to write for adults. He wrote a political novel called The Noah Hour, which he is searching for a publisher for, and he has also written his memoir.
People sometimes ask me, when did I start to write? When I was 6 years old, I wrote some really terrible little doggerel, and which any kid would have done. I don't blame myself. But my mother was so impressed with that she printed it all up very carefully and sent it to a publisher, if you can imagine that. And mother had, I think the publisher was one for whom she had worked as an illustrator and had done some children's books for him. But anyway, he wrote back and he said that I showed great enterprise for 6 years old. Come back when I was 30. That's when I started to write. I had written for children before. You know, Family Circle magazine. It's at that time had a circulation of 5 million, and I walked into the editor one time with an idea, and it took me exactly 10 minutes to sell it, and we got a contract for 3 years. Here was the idea briefly. I created a character called Ellsworth Elephant, who was a 6-year-old son of the only elephant family living in Westport, Connecticut at that time. Nobody noticed that they were elephants. They just did everything that all the other kids did, and Ellsworth would, we learned to swim at the beach. He learned to fly a kite. He learned to like cheese sandwiches. He got his first library card. Just little things that a kid could write about. So Ellsworth would write, and Hardy Gramacki would do pictures on both sides of one page of the magazine. And it would be in the form of a letter, and the salutation of the dear blank would be left open. So you could write your kid's name in the salutation, cut it out of the magazine, put it in an envelope, mail it to your kid. So the kid got a letter from Ellsworth Elephant. And we could easily make a book out of the letters those kids wrote back. They were absolutely precious. You wouldn't believe them. 2 little girls in Cleveland were having a real scrap because they wanted to know which one of them was Ellsworth's girlfriend. And there was one little girl who wrote and gave her telephone number, said, please call me. So we were given, the magazine gave us some postcards with Ellsworth's logo on it, and we would write little notes back to the kids. And so we wrote back to this little girl, I'm not allowed to make long-distance phone calls. Next letter we got from her was, my father works for the phone company. I can make all the long-distance phone calls I like. Please send me your phone number. So I don't remember what we did about that. The memoir was suggested by Isabel Allende, whom everybody knows, I think. And we became acquainted in a strange sort of way. I had never read any of her work, but I more or less stumbled across a book of her short stories, and I was very impressed with them. And I wanted to say something to her about them. And I tried to get a phone number or an address or something, the best I could do from the reference person in the library was a fax number. And this is what I faxed to her. I said, the only word in the English language to describe your writing is torrential. And almost immediately, and I did explain that I don't read very much because my eyesight's poor. So almost by return mail, I got a letter thanking me for my note and 2 volumes, 2 books of hers in recorded form, talking books as they were. And I read them and liked them very much, and I had a criticism about one of them what I put in, but I wrote and thanked her. And I thought, well, I won't hear from her again after having criticized her book. But sure enough, back she came almost immediately with a letter saying, "Thank you for being you." And I presume she meant being open about it. And, you know, she had just written a memoir herself, and I guess she had memoirs on the mind when she suggested that. Although the way she put it was, I Googled you. They said, you must write your memoir. I Googled you and find you have a most interesting mind and life. And that's true enough. And I have been around for a long time and done a lot of things.
To hear Osmond read from his book, The Noah Hour, go to osmondmolarskifans.pnn.com. I'll see you there.